Hi, I'm Peter Alsop, and this week's Song to Chew is the title cut from my Pluggin Away album. It's a song about having persistence, about finding the will to keep on trying when we want to accomplish our goals. The hard part of persistence is figuring out how long do we keep on trying before we decide that we're just beating our head against a wall. Because sometimes no matter how hard we try, it seems like nothing changes. So, first, let's listen to our song to chew for today, Pluggin Away.
Plugging away, people who keep plugging away. They're the ones who get things done, 'cause they keep plugging away. They keep plugging away.
Basketball's my favorite sport, but when people told me you're too short, I refused to leave the court. I kept plugging away, watch me dribble now.
Plugging away, people who keep plugging away. They're the ones who get things done, 'cause they keep plugging away. They keep plugging away.
Got new glasses for my eyes. Next day in school, some of the guys were teasing me, but hey, surprise, I kept plugging away. I could see they had some problems.
Plugging away, people who keep plugging away. They're the ones who get things done, 'cause they keep plugging away. They keep plugging away.
Remember tortoise and the hare, that rabbit really did not care. The tortoise wanted fair and square, 'cause he kept plugging away.
Yup, putting one foot in front of the other.
Plugging away, people who keep plugging away. They're the ones who get things done, 'cause they keep plugging away. They keep plugging away. Now sometimes life is kinda tough, but our heads are made of brains, not fluff. So find a way to do your stuff, and you keep plugging away. If you got things you want to do, don't let folks discourage you. Just hold your nose, say
Who do you?
then you keep plugging away. Hey, plugging away, people who keep plugging away. Well, they're the ones who get things done, 'cause they keep plugging away. They keep plugging away. Plugging away, people who keep plugging away. They're the ones who get things done, 'cause they keep plugging away. They keep plugging away.
That was a bunch of my old pals playing on that song. Miriam Cutler sails on her wonderful clarinet, while Michelle Brauman played synthesizer and Fred Tackett played his electric guitar. Roger LaRocque programmed the Lindrum F-16, and my daughters Megan and Willow sang choruses and solos with our Topanga Kid buddies Abby Stallcup, Inara George, Heidi Morrison, and Jamie Nelson. People who keep plugging away, they're the ones who get things done because they keep plugging away. There are always tasks to be done that no one wants to do, but our attitude makes the difference between whether it becomes awful drudgery or just a job that has to be finished, or maybe we just reframe the whole experience and make it fun. Most of us know that the only way to get a job done is to keep working on it. So plugging away is not just about working. It's also about paying attention to the stories we tell ourselves when we're working. Our stories are very important, and if our story is that, I sure don't like doing this, or boy, I wish I could be somewhere else with my friends, or I'm no good at this and I'll never get it done, I just can't do it, then it's going to take a lot more energy to finish, and it will be a lot more difficult to keep at it, right? When my kids were little, they would say, I can't do this about something. So we had a rule in our house that if anyone in the family said, I can't do this, they had to say the same sentence again, but this time they had to add the word yet to the end of the sentence, like, I can't do this math problem, yet. Well, by adding yet at the end of the sentence, it totally takes away all the negative first part of the sentence. Because now the story isn't that this can't be done. The story is, if we keep trying, eventually we might be able to do it. And that's an entirely different story, isn't it? So we just keep plugging away, and when we do, we get lots of stuff done. And we learn lots of things too. How wonderful. Just like the tortoise, we can learn a bunch of skills while we're doing the work and getting it finished. We learn lessons like putting one foot in front of the other, or refusing to leave the basketball court until we make 5 baskets in a row. We can even make it into our own game. As with most things we want to accomplish, we almost always have to put some time into practicing and doing what we need to do to get better. So why spend time holding on to an unpleasant internal story when we can change that story? Sometimes other people will try to discourage us. Sometimes it's because they worry about us working too hard and they don't want us to feel discouraged, so they try to talk us out of doing something that they probably wouldn't do themselves. That's when we really have to take a look at why we're so interested in this thing that they're warning us about. Some people use work as a way to avoid painful feelings. Keeping our minds busy and occupied can help us through hard times, but working can become unhealthy for us when we do it compulsively. If we develop a pattern of cutting off our feelings to avoid dealing with our fears or sadness or anger or whatever is bothering us inside, we never face the source of our problem, and we can become addicted to work behavior. We take on task after task in order to keep our painful feelings from coming up. And when this happens, it's better to stop plugging away and get some help from someone who knows about codependency and addictive behaviors. When we understand more clearly what we really want to do and why we want to do it, it's much easier to see that if what we're doing doesn't work out, then we will have learned a lesson. And if it does work out, then we will have accomplished something we wanted to do. In either case, it feels much better to make our decisions for ourselves about how we spend our time. And what is work, really? Did you ever notice that if you like doing something, even if it takes up a bunch of your time, that it doesn't seem like work? The whole idea of work being something that we don't really want to do is a story, because we call it a job or work. It kind of includes the feeling that we really don't want to be doing this activity. Now, maybe it's worth it to us if someone gives us something we want in return for spending our time doing this stuff, like they give us money or they thank us a lot. Or maybe we just want to do something nice for someone else and we feel good about ourselves when we do it. All of those things are part of our own story about the work we're doing. So when we change that story in our head and we're clear about why we use our time to do that activity, then that work doesn't seem so difficult or so long. Did you ever have a great idea that you never started because it seemed like too much work? Or put off doing things because you were afraid you wouldn't be successful? Well, if we change our story, we break those patterns. I think that's enough to chew on for today. I'm Peter Alsop, and I'm so glad you stopped by. I'll see you again next week with another song to chew. Bye for now.